In this tutorial, we're going to look at having something animate picking an object up. So this is my example here. I've got this robot arm, I've got this ball, and if we just play this through, we have picking up the ball. Okay. So with this, the main thing we need to do is actually change the way that this is parented, the ball itself. So the way we do that is to animate a parent constraint. So I've just deleted that parent constraint that we had working on this one before. So now what we've got is this that won't pick up the ball. Okay. So to start out with, we need to actually parent this ball to something in the first instance. Now, if you were going to animate this, you could use something like a point helper. Could be a useful one. It could be parented to anything. It could be another sphere. It could be a box. Could be a NURB circle. Anything as a control object. Just for this example, I'm just going to do it to the floor. So I've got this floor object. So I'm going to have this animated on. I'm having it static, and then the robot arm lift it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually use a parent constraint. I can't use a simple parent because that won't allow me to animate it. So I need to use a parent constraint. So up here we have our constraints, and we're going to use this parent constraint. If you don't have that on in your Maya, you need to go to the animation module. So this by default is a modeling. Go to the animation one, and there we have these constraints. And we're going to look at this parent constraint. Okay. Now, parent constraints work slightly differently to parenting. With parenting, we click on the child object and then click on or shift click on the parent object, and then we parent them together. Constraints work the opposite way around. We click on our parent object and then we shift click on our child object, that way around. So what I'm going to do is do exactly that. So I'm going to click on my ground, shift click on my ball, go to constraint and parent. Just going to go into the options for this. I'm just making sure that I'm translating all axes and rotating all axes, so they'll all follow the parent object. And I'm going to keep the maintain offset clicked on, and then I'm going to click apply. And it won't do anything at the moment. What we will get though is, you see, nothing at all. Then what I want to do is be able to have this ball be controlled by our robot arm. So this time I'm going to click on this control object and shift click on my ball, and again I'm just going to do a parent constraint, click on apply. I'm going to close this. So what this is going to do right now, it's going to average out between these two parents. So if I play this out, you can see that ball is averaging out between the world, or in this case our first parent, which is this ground object, this plane, and this object here. Going to go between both of those. So what we need to do to make this work is to animate this. So I'm going to go to frame 0. Over here on my parent constraint, I'm just in this section here, in my channel box. Down here I've got two values. And these are the two things that this object is parented to. So we've got the floor and we've got the control hand. So initially I want this just controlled by the floor. So I need this value to be 1. I want the control hand to be a value of 0. So if I move this now, you can see that that doesn't change the position of the ball at all. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is go in. So I'm going to go just kind of the frame before this is going to be picked up. I'm going to put some animation keys on this. So I'm going to grab both of these at this value right now. Right click. I'm going to do a key selected to set these keyframes, or these keys as keyframes. Then I'm going to go onto the frame where we actually have this ball being picked up. And I'm going to change these values around. So I'm now going to have the control hand as 1. I'm going to have the floor one at 0. So that means that now the complete influence is of this ball is the control hand, and we have no influence at all from the floor. So now this is going to pick this up. Okay. And just have that. If at any point we wanted to put this back down again, we could do that. So if I was to say, go into this, I'm going to go back to this frame a second. I'm going to grab all of these. Oops. Grab my control objects. I'm going to right click and just do a copy. So let's go in. I'll just say this can go to 125. Just right click and paste that. And I'll just, at this point, reset this and reset this. So we have something like that. I'm going to drag this down just a little bit more. Just so the ball's back on the ground. So essentially we do this the opposite way around. So just on this frame beforehand, if I have this being controlled back to the floor, let's go in here. Let's grab both of these. So let's just go in and get this one. So we're going to change this value back to, no, we're going to actually keyframe these first of all. So this is still being controlled by the robot arm. So let's right click, do a key selected, go to the next frame. And now we'll change these back over. So it's now being controlled by the floor, not being controlled by the robot arm. And now if I was to take this and just animate this up a little bit. And just for the sake of the animation, let's just animate these as well. So let's get 25. Let's just grab these two. It's a little bit of a, there we go, that's fine. And there we go. So that's the simple thing about animating the parent constraint. Okay. So if you want to pick something up or have something following one object and following another object, just animating that parent constraint value will allow you to do that.